I was wrong for my actions. I have apologized to Jordan.
I hope so. I'll do everything I can to try to make that happen. But he is so important to what I believe is our past, our present, and our future.
Nobody's business but ours.
It is a truly iconic week this week for the game of basketball because not only do we finally get the start of the regular season, which features the Golden State Warriors facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers on Tuesday night, but the Golden State Warriors have answered a lot of questions that were looming on our mind following the Draymond Green and Jordan Poole controversy. Who are they going to choose? Were they going to choose between their young budding star Jordan Poole, or were they going to choose Draymond Green? If that happens, what was the fallout going to be? How are they going to move forward together? And would they still be able to compete for a NBA championship? And ultimately, as a result, the Golden State Warriors made significant decisions that are indicative of what the future is going to look like. And some players on the Golden State Warriors are going to have to make some decisions about their future. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. We do shorter versions of this content on my Instagram and on my TikTok account at The Flight Mic for both. Now that we get all of that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So the last time we covered the Draymond Green situation, there was a question about how the Golden State Warriors were going to move forward now that Draymond Green was allowed back into the building. On top of that, Draymond Green didn't get a huge punishment. There was no suspension at all whatsoever. He did take some time away from the team, but he just returned to the team and everything went back to normal. As you can see in this one clip that kind of made its rounds throughout the internet once Draymond Green returned for the Golden State Warriors preseason finale, going ahead, dapping up each and every single member of his team, and then having a very unique handshake with Jordan Poole himself. Now, here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Growing up as a basketball fan, I used to think that Kobe and Shaq were best friends. I thought Pippen and Jordan were best friends, and I'm really unsure about that relationship. It's a very interesting relationship, if you ask me, especially after the Last Dance documentary came out, and with Michael Jordan's son dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. But I digress. There's a huge misconception in the world of sports, whether that be basketball or football or baseball or any sport, that if two players have significant chemistry with one another, if they're really good at playing with one another, they're automatically best friends. That isn't necessarily the case, and we're really seeing this from the Jordan Poole situation. So on Sunday, we got this viral tweet that was in response to a huge decision that the Golden State Warriors made. And it was Bob Myers on the Draymond Green situation saying, "We did our best. We made the decision we made." I just wanted to expose the clickbait nature of this tweet because that's not what he said. The full context of the tweet was Bob Myers said that Draymond is in a great spot. He's got a player option. It's a great position for a player to be in. You control your own destiny. I don't sense any issues there or any problems. I imagine he's going to have a fantastic year. The issue that the Golden State Warriors had, and it was a very apparent issue from the very beginning, is what do the Warriors do with all the upcoming contract expirations that were coming? And we cited this article that the Warriors stars would probably refuse to take a pay cut to help the team. I mean, Draymond Green said himself that he was not going to take any pay cut whatsoever to help the Golden State Warriors retain its championship core. And ultimately, it seems like the Golden State Warriors are squeezing Draymond Green as a result of the current situation they're in. Now, if you ask me, I felt like this is what the Warriors were going to do anyway, but first, let's bring you guys the news. So it was a very interesting day on Saturday. I mean, an absolutely monumental day, because the very first piece of news we received was that the Golden State Warriors were signing Jordan Poole to a 4-year, $140 million contract extension. Now, this is significant because Jordan Poole was projected to possibly hit restricted free agency, and the deal that Jordan Poole received from the Golden State Warriors was absolutely insane. I mean, if you want to compare it to to another player that recently got a massive contract extension, look at RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett received a 4-year, $107 million contract extension, whereas Jordan Poole received a 4-year, $140 million contract extension. I mean, considering the fact that this is a guy that was playing in the G League 2 years ago and then eventually broke out this past season and won an NBA championship, it's a truly remarkable story that he went from G League to max contract on a contending team for the next couple of years. It's truly a remarkable story. To be honest, my prediction in regards to how Draymond's reaction was going to be was something like this.
Shake your hand. I'm gonna shake your hand. Shake your hand. I'm gonna shake your hand.
Jokes aside, Jordan Poole actually discusses how him and Draymond currently are, and we'll get to that in a sec because we have to answer one more very important question before we get to that point, and that's what do the Golden State Warriors do now? Do they choose between their best defensive player in Draymond Green, or do they try to sign Andrew Wiggins to a contract extension as well? Well, they didn't waste much time in letting us all know what their plans were, because 6 hours later, Adrian Wojnarowski reported that the Golden State Warriors have agreed to a 4-year, $109 million contract extension with Andrew Wiggins, which means the two individuals that said this after winning a championship.
Hey, you about to get a bag. You about to get a bag. No. You about to get a bag. We about to get a bag. We about to get a bag.
Ended up being right, although Andrew Wiggins' contract extension is significantly different. You see, Andrew Wiggins already received a gigantic rookie scale contract extension from the Minnesota Timberwolves prior to being traded for D'Angelo Russell to the Golden State Warriors. And although I believe he could have gotten significantly more money from any other team, there was a part of me that felt like Andrew Wiggins was going to go this route. He already received a contract extension from a team, with all due respect to the Minnesota Timberwolves, that weren't utilizing him properly. He got paid the maximum amount that a rookie could get paid, and he wasn't really tapping into his potential. A lot of us were writing off Andrew Wiggins as a gigantic draft bust after coming into the NBA, being hailed as the greatest prospect since LeBron James. And I don't know if you noticed, but there is a new greatest prospect since LeBron James almost every 5 years. But that's besides the point. Once he got traded to the Golden State Warriors, he became a better shooter. You stopped seeing those horrible contested mid-range pull-up twos that were driving us all crazy. He established himself as a small ball 4, and he won a championship and made it to an All-Star game. So as a result, I think at this point, Andrew Wiggins decided to prioritize career success with a championship culture that clearly knows how to develop its players over getting a few extra tens of millions of dollars. As a matter of fact, Andrew Wiggins took a pay cut of nearly $10 million a year to stay with the Golden State Warriors. That's how powerful a legitimate championship culture could be. Players will sacrifice money in order to stay with a team like the Golden State Warriors. And honestly, props to Andrew Wiggins. I think he made the right decision. I feel like this decision would prolong his career, and at some point he will see that money coming back to him, either in the form of an additional deal that he wouldn't have gotten if he went to a team that didn't know how to utilize him again, or possibly in the form of being involved in a larger market. Maybe, I don't really see this, but maybe he might get some sponsorships and whatnot. I don't know. Either way, I think Andrew Wiggins made the right decision. And as a matter of fact, Bob Myers made it sound like this was a dream scenario and that this wasn't going to initially happen. Listen to this.
Second question, no. The Draymond incident didn't have any impact on how we move through these things. These had been ongoing discussions. I know that they came to fruition pretty late in the game, but we've been talking to Andrew's representatives. That was a little bit quieter. I think a lot of people assumed that might not get done. But those conversations have been going on for 2 months. Jordan, we agreed to pick up later. Had a sense that we have a good opportunity to get it done. Wasn't sure where it was going to end up. After the finals and the victory, we organizationally felt like these are two guys we really want to keep and see if we can do it. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes the expectations don't align. Sometimes the money doesn't align. But as we got closer, Marcus, we got a sense that there was a good intention from the agency side, from the players' side, and certainly from ours to try to figure out a path to getting them both done.
So now the question remains, what is going to happen to the rest of the Golden State Warriors? How's Jordan Poole and Draymond Green currently getting along? Well, Jordan Poole actually said to the media yesterday, things are better than you'd think. Check this out.
He apologized and professional. We plan on handling ourselves that way. We're going to play basketball, and everybody in the locker room and on our team knows what it takes to win a championship. And we're going to do that on the court. And that's really all I have to say. in the manner we're here to win a championship and, keep hanging banners. Anything in regards to the contract situation, the extension, us winning a back-to-back championship, any basketball-related questions, I'm all ears.
Remember, originally before all this drama started, Draymond Green praised Jordan Poole.
One thing that Jordan did that showed me he's going to be all right in this league actually happened in training camp of his rookie year. Jordan came into camp talking to everybody, and I remember one day, him and Glenn Robinson III, they got into it. All these guys are coming to me like, tell him to shut up. This young always got something to say. But I'm like, I'm not going to tell him to shut up. If you can't handle him talking, that's on you. At that moment, though, the way he was getting under guys' skin, I appreciated that. You couple that with the hard work that he puts in and the amount of skill that he has. And it is a recipe for a guy who's going to be successful in this league.
So now Bob Myers' quote that I said in the beginning of the video might make some more sense. Draymond is in a good situation. He does have a player option. Kyrie Irving opted into his player option this past season. Draymond Green might be able to do that this next season. The Golden State Warriors have essentially made their decision. They chose Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, which in my opinion was a dream scenario that you were able to retain two of those players over Draymond Green. And to be honest, that's the right decision. Paying Draymond Green max contract money, he's a remarkable defender, don't get me wrong. He is the heart and soul of the Golden State Warriors. He's been the leader of this team over the past decade. And this might sound bold, but the Golden State Warriors don't become a dynasty without Draymond Green playing the small ball four for them and establishing the tone on defense, regardless of how bad he's been on offense recently. But the reality is that the Golden State Warriors potentially do have alternatives to Draymond Green. I mean, they recently drafted Jonathan Kuminga with a top 10 pick, and I'm assuming they are going to opt for trying to develop him into their next version of Draymond Green, which, don't get me wrong, because that's a pretty tall task, but Jonathan Kuminga has shown a decent amount of potential in just his rookie year alone. And bear in mind, this is a ridiculously small sample size, so it's very difficult to say, hey, he's headed towards the right direction based upon his rookie year. He played maybe like 17 minutes per game during his rookie season, but he shot 34% from three, he averaged 9 points per game, and shot 51% from the field. It's very difficult to tell whether the defense is still there because his defensive box plus minus currently, at least from his rookie year, is a negative 0.2. So it's very difficult to know for sure if he could bring that type of defensive intensity that Draymond Green does. But at the same time, he has a 210-pound frame. I definitely think that the Golden State Warriors could develop him as such. But what I think is more likely to happen, and no Laker fans, I don't think the Lakers are going to get Draymond Green. As a matter of fact, if they sign Draymond Green to a max contract, I am no longer a Laker fan. Nothing against him, but he's not enough to get us to where we need to be, with all due respect. I think what is more likely to happen is either Draymond opts into his player option and then takes a pay cut, which is what I believe he should do, because that would put him in a position to consistently win championships and become a Golden State Warriors legend. He already is one, but he would be up there in Golden State Warriors lore alongside Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Probably not as much as they are, but he'll be cherished and remembered fondly as a Golden State Warrior if he stays there for the rest of his career, and he'd be appreciated if he decides to take a pay cut. And to be honest, man, I understand Draymond Green definitely is a little bit more insecure than the average NBA star. You could just tell based upon his trash talk and how he reacted in the Jordan Poole situation. The reason I'm saying this is the amount you're getting paid is more important than just being financially secure, because Draymond Green gets paid more than enough money at this point. It's a bit of an ego thing. If you're getting paid more, then it means that you're viewed as a player that is more up there in the hierarchy of your team, because your team has opted to allocate a significant amount of funds in order to make you a member of that team. And I don't know if Draymond Green would be able to take that hit to his ego and take a pay cut, but I believe he should, because he's already establishing himself with his podcast. I think he's really setting himself up for life after the NBA. And I think he's going to do really, really well in life after the NBA. I mean, imagine Charles Barkley, but he has multiple championships, multiple all-defensive team honors, multiple all-star selections, a NBA second team and an NBA third team selection, and most importantly, the 2017 Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, Draymond Green has the potential to really be a force in the media, but he's not going to be a force in the media if he leaves leaves the Golden State Warriors. Maybe if he goes to the Los Angeles Lakers, but you're not going to listen to Draymond Green's podcast if he ended up turning into some sort of journeyman in the NBA. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this situation? Do you think the Golden State Warriors really made the right decision? Do you think this is the end of the Golden State Warriors dynasty? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.